Yeah, Hare Krishna. Hi, Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Guru Sri Prabhupada. And are you ready? You can start, Mataji.
Dear Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Today we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 36, text 1 to 16, the slaying of Arista, the bull demon. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Deving Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudire Nashtapraya Savadresu Nityam Bhagavata Seva Bhagavate Uttama Sloke Bhakti Nistiki Namam Vishnupadaya Krishnapastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paschata Desa Tarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Text 1. Sukadev Goswami said, the demon Arista then came to the cowherd village. Appearing in the form of a bull with a large hump, he made the earth tremble as he tore it apart with his hoofs. Aristasura bellowed very harshly and pawed the ground. With his tail raised and his eyes glaring, he began to tear up the embankments with the tips of his horns, every now and then passing a little stool and urine. Text 3 and 4. My dear king, clouds hover about Saffron Aristasura hump, mistaking it for a mountain. And when the cowherd men and ladies caught sight of the demon, they were struck with terror. Indeed, the strident reverberation of his roar so frightened the pregnant cows and women that they lost their fetus in miscarriages. The domestic animal fled the pasture in fear. O king, and all the inhabitants rushed to Lord Govinda for shelter, crying, Krishna, Krishna. When the Supreme Lord saw the cowherd community distraught and fleeing in fear, he calmed them, saying, don't be afraid. Then he called out to the bull demon as follows. You fool, what do you think you are doing, you wicked rascal, frightening the cowherd community and their animals, where I am here just to punish corrupt miscreants like you? Having spoken this word, the infallible Lord Hari shaped his arms with his palms, further angering Arista with a loud sound. The Lord then casually threw him his mighty serpentine arm over the shoulder of a friend and stood facing the demon. Thus provoked, Arista pawed the ground with one of his hoofs, and then, with the clouds hovering around his upraised tail, furiously charged Krishna. Pointing the tips of his horns straight ahead and glaring menacingly at Lord Krishna from the corner of his bloodshot eyes, Arista rushed towards him at full speed like a thunderbolt hurled by Indra. Text 11. The Supreme Lord Krishna seized Aristasura by the horn and threw him back 18 steps, just as an elephant might do when fighting rival elephants. The repulsed by the Supreme Lord, the bull demon got up and, breathing hard and sweating all over his body, again charged him in a mindless rage. As Arista attacked, Lord Krishna seized him by the horns and knocked him to the ground with his foot. The Lord then thrashed him as if he were a wet cloth, and finally he yanked out one of the demon's horn and struck him with it until he lay prostrate, vomiting blood and profusely excreting stool and urine, kicking his leg and rolling his eyes about. Aristasura thus went painfully to the abode of death. The demigods honored Lord Krishna by scattering flowers upon him. Having thus killed the bull demon Arista, he who is a festival for the gopis' eyes entered the cowherd village with Balarama. Text 16. After Aristasura had been killed by Krishna, who acts wonderfully, Narada Muni went to speak a King Kansa. That powerful sage of godly vision addressed the king as follows. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you so much, Hemang Mataji. Hare Krishna. Yeah, Hare Krishna, Sri Krishna Prabhuji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Sri Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Yeah, whenever you're ready, you can start, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Sundran Prabhu. Thank you, Hemangi Mataji, for reading Srimad Bhagavatam today. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yogam Sikshashtamekam Purusha Puranam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Sariradari Kripam Tamaham Prapadye Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Makam karoti vachalam pangum langete girim yatkrupa tamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Shri Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So in the last section, we saw how the elderly gopis were actually glorifying Mother Yashoda. So so they were all glorifying about Krishna's pastimes, how he goes to forest and he plays wonderful flute which attracts all the animals and creepers and basically the entire flora and fauna gets attracted to Krishna's flute, and how he was calling the cows with his flute, and how the cows were so mesmerized. So the elderly gopis were glorifying Mother Yashoda as the goddess of Vrindavan. And so Sukadeva Goswami elaborately mentions. And then, so this is how the elderly gopis were continuously taking pleasure in singing the pastimes of Krishna, and their minds and hearts were completely absorbed. And this they were doing in pretty much every day with great festivity and joy. This is Subodhayanta Parasparam, Katayantascha Mam Nityam, Tushyanti Ramanti Cha. They were actually enjoying and they were getting so much pleasure out of it. So now Sukadeva Goswami goes on to elaborate this chapter about slaying the Aristasura demon. So this word Arista, even in Telugu also there is, they say Arista means misfortune, something ill fortune like that. So I don't know after this demon the word become like that, but so in this case he appears in the form of a bull. So the bull is considered very auspicious in the Vedic culture. The bull is considered the father, and the mother cow, the cow is considered a mother. So in this case, even though Arishta Shura is a demon, he appeared in the form of a bull, which later on goes into another pastime of Krishna. So how Krishna actually uh, makes the whole Shamakund and Radhakund also appears. So, so in this chapter, Krishna, she is kind of concluding his pastimes in Vrindavan. So killing this Aristasura, and then again the Keshi demon also sent by comes up, and after that Krishna goes to Mathura. So Narada Muni, being Trikalagya, he knows the future. So he understands the Krishna's pastime is concluding. Now is the time for him to come to Mathura, and also for him to meet his parents and have a Vasudev to get the association of the Lord. So all this Narada Muni understands, and he kind of participates in this pastime. So here, so Sukadeva Goswami starts elaborating. And so Aristashura, he enters as a twilight. So when the Krishna's rasa dance was progressing, he enters as a twilight, and when Krishna was not there, he kind of terrifies the Gokul. So the cowherd community, he makes so much noise and havoc. So everybody is so terrified. So he's very huge looking, and his humps are like almost touching the mountains. Even the clouds were actually going above the humps, thinking that's like a mountain. So such a huge appearance, and show sharp toned, and the sharp horns was very very terrifying. So now everybody were terrified, and a lot of women actually had miscarriage. So this was the the situation. And you probably have seen, like, when the bulls they pass, just the naturally they are very powerful looking. And but in this case, it's actually a demon, and he's basically came to terrify and kill Krishna. So he's really very harsh and very very mischief. So the eyes were actually glaring, and then if you look at when the tails were raised, that means the cows are very angry. The tails are normally down, but when the tails are raised, that means it's extremely angry. It can do anything at any time. So these were the symptoms of this demon mentioned in this chapter. And at this time, everybody understood there's a big anartha happening here, and now they are trying to take shelter of Krishna. So here all of the Rajavasis and the cowherd men, they were approaching Krishna. It is mentioned that Krishna Krishneti te sarve Govindam Sharanam Yayu. So they were actually calling Krishna, Krishna, please protect us. You know. So Pashava Drudhu Bita Rajan Santyajya. So they actually abandoned all the domestic animals, the cows and whatever domestic animals were there. They were fleeing here and there in fear. And then everybody is rushing, oh Govinda, please protect us. So just like Draupadi was calling, oh Govinda, Govinda, just like that, the Vrajavasis are also calling Krishna for protection. So Bhagavan api tad vikshya. So when the Lord, when the cowherd community, go kulam, so the cowherd community was so much in fear and distraught, Krishna actually tried to calm them. Ma by sthiti girashvasya vrashashuram upa vayad. So he called out. So this vrasha asuram, the bull demon, don't be afraid of it. Ma Baishra, don't be afraid. And he was pacifying with words of to the cowherd community. So now Krishna was ready to challenge Aristasura. I know. So Krishna, this is one of the famous, so the fighting that Krishna actually makes. So he stands with, just like if you um, go to Maharashtra, Panduranga temple, Krishna stands with his, two hands and facing with Mother, next to Mother Rukmini. So Rukmini Vittal, like just like that, he was standing and he was challenging this Aristasura, and he's calling, um, he's calling Gopalai Pashubir Manda. So Manda means a fool. You think you're such a rascal. When I'm not there, you're just terrifying the Gokulam, so the cowherd community. I am just here just to punish you. So so now, when whatever Krishna does, he does it in a very very beautiful way. So when which the lot of demons comes in different animal forms, different forms. So the way to attack, when that bull is attacking the powerful man who actually subdues the bull, they use the horns. Basically, the horns. When the horns are subdued, the bull can be subdued. The horns and the nose. So each animal has its own weak points. So Krishna also handles, even though Krishna can do anything, but he handles like that for each of these animals. So Aristasura is a form of a bull. So Krishna handles through his horns. And also so when Lord actually slaps his arms and challenges Aristasura and stands in front of him. So so now, this is a great challenge. Just this is when Aristasura was provoked. The bulls normally, they with his legs, they make a big dent. In the hoof, with the hooves they make a big dent, and then they start chasing. They start going forward. So Aristasura also, he made a big, with his hoofs, he made a big lake-like form, and then his humps were touching like almost clouds, and his tail was upraised, and he was furiously trying to charge. Kruruddha Krishnam Upadruvat. So he was charging Krishna with so much anger and so much, in the challenging mood. So now Krishna very menacingly, like it is said, his that very very the stabdha so these eyes were actually very bloody, and so much so anger is being expressed, and here so just like example is given, Indra Mukto Asanair Yataha, just like a thunderbolt hurled by Indra. So Aristasura also so much with the full speeds trying to hurl at Krishna. So now Grihitva Stringayo Tham. So this just Lord Krishna, just Grihitva means he caught hold of the horns, and just like a gaja, elephant. So gaja prati gajam yataha. So just like an elephant, when he's fighting with the elephant, it was looking very majestic. The Lord threw Aristasura 18 feet, 18 steps behind. So this is like a big defeat for Aristasura. And now the bull got up again, and with a little more rage, again started. Nishvashan Krodha Muruchitaha. So much anger, and he was breathing very heavy. So when the bulls, when they get anger, you could feel the breath is coming like wind, so much heavy. So now Punaha again he tried to um, chase at the Lord and try to fight the Lord. So so here when the second time, when the Aristasura attacked, Lord again, Grahitva, he actually caught hold of the horns and basically knocked one of the horns. And with that horns, he was Nishpidayam Asha, he was beating Aristasura. Now, just like um, when the people go to the river, the men who used to wash clothes, they wash the clothes on a rock. Just like that, Aristasura is being beaten again, just like a torn cloth, is completely vomiting blood, and he left his body. So, so this was so when Aristasura died, he was rolling his eyes, and then he left his body. All the demigods, devatas, they were showering flowers at Krishna. So Pushpa Kiranto Harim Idire Suraha. So all the Sura means demigods. They were all showering flowers. So now this is a festival again in Vrindavan. Prabhupada used to say whenever uh, every day there was like one demon used to come, Krishna used to kill, and there was a festival, all the gopas, and they used to talk about it. So now again this was like a festival. The gopis they entered the village with Balram. So now again this here it's said that the Krishna's sublime contrast of spiritual qualities of Krishna. So here on one side, Krishna was like a thunderbolt. On the other side, for Gopi's eyes, he was like a charming, young, sweet boy. So the both contrasts. Krishna is hard like a thunderbolt, and also he's soft like a rose. And ye yatamam prapadyante tam tataiva bhajami aham. So however we want to reciprocate with Krishna, he is ready to reciprocate. So with Chanura and Mustika, he was like a thunderbolt, and with Vasudeva and Devaki, he was like a sun, and with Kamsa, he was so harsh. So like that, each of them has different dealings. Krishna also reciprocates with Gopas. He's like a very close friend. So different ways we can reciprocate with the Lord according to how we actually want Him to reciprocate. So in this case, Aristasura want to challenge. So Krishna also accepted the challenge. So the gopis were relishing this pastime, and they were and Lord was also reciprocating the conjugal feelings of gopis. So after this, when the Aristasura was in the form of a bull, so like I said, bull was actually considered dharma, so he was the bull is considered like a father, and where all the religion personified, bull is worshipped. So now the gopis were actually making fun of Krishna. Oh, you killed a bull, so now you're sinful. Don't even come here. We you're sinful. You have to take bath in all the holy places. So like that, the gopis were making fun. So so here now Narada Muni, uh, at the same time, right after Aristasura was killed, Narada Muni went to speak to Kamsa. So here it is said, Deva Darshanam Ariste Nihata Udaite uh, Krishnena Adputa Karmana Kamsaya Atha Aha Bhagavan Narada Deva Darshanaha. So uh, Narada's vision is considered like a Deva Darshana. So the Deva Darshana is being described as different ways here. So when you see a devotee like Narada Muni is as good as seeing the Lord. That is one meaning. The another meaning is he's also as good as seeing the demigods. So he's also a representative demigods. So is as good as seeing the demigods, devas. So and then all these are different meanings of Deva Darshana. So now Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur here it describes from the Puranas the discussion between Radha and Krishna that took place after Krishna killed the demon Arishta. So now, when the demon was killed, the gopis were basically saying, Gora Asura Ayam Ayi Krishna Tad Abhi Ayam Gavo. Gava means in the form of a cow, male cow. You made a big sin. So they were saying, Vrutro Yata Dvija Ihasti Ayi Niskrita Kim. So now what you're going to do, you have to actually take bath in all the holy rivers, not just one holy place. So you have to visit all the holy place in three worlds. How can you, how are you going to purify yourself? Now Krishna says, why do I have to go throughout the entire universe? I will at once bring all the countless holy places here and take bath. Just watch. With this, Lord Mukunda, so Lord Krishna, he just struck his heel. Kim paryante bhuvanani adunaiva sarva aniyatirtha vitatai karavani tashu. So I will actually bring all the holy places here. So now, as soon as Krishna stuck his heel, now immediately Patalo Jalam Mila Kilo Bhogavatya. So there was from the Patala Loka Bhogavati river, the personified holy river came, and now all of the other holy rivers, Krishna summoned them. Please come here. So when the Lord summoned, all the holy places appeared, and they actually addressed. So Krishna then spoke to the gopis. So now see, all the holy places are here. And the gopis said, "Oh, we don't see anyone. You're just simply saying." And then after that, so when the gopis said this, now all the holy rivers appeared as a personified form. And they said, Asano api sinduraham ashmi bhavami tamara parnicha pushkaram aham cha saraswati godavari ravi suta sarayu prayago revashmi pashyata jalam kuruta pratitam. So every one of them, Sindhu, Tamarabarni, Pushkara, Saraswati, Godavari, Yamuna. So all of them appeared, okay, I am so and so, I am so and so. And then all the gopis were witnessing it. Now, Krishna, he took bath in that river, and then he said to all the gopis, now actually I have produced all the holy places, but you actually, and other side Krishna challenged the gopis, you have not done anything religious and to please Lord Brahma. So and then Radharani was addressing all the gopis. Okay, so now I should create more beautiful pond, like better than yours. So Krishna's pond, and she was addressing all the gopis. Karyam mayapi ati manohara kundam ekam. So very beautiful manohara kundam ekam. Tashmat yatabdam mitita vachona thabihi. Sri Krishna Kunda Tato Paschimi Dishyamando Gartha Krito Vrishabadaita Kurayar Vyako Vyaloki. So the gopis, they went to the west of the Sri Krishna's pond on the west side, and there was already a big, shallow, deep space where the Aristashura was digging his hooves. In the same place, the gopis also taking soft mud out of their own hands. So soon as a divine pond was manifested in a span of an hour, and Krishna was actually astonished to see the lake that they produced. So all the gopis were working. So now Krishna said, you should fill this pond with water from my pond. How are you going to get the water? So holy rivers. But then Radharani was saying, no, 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 we cannot actually. Your water is contaminated because of killing a cow, terrible sin of killing a cow. so, so Radharani was addressing all the gopis that we will get water from Manasa Ganga with a lot of billions of pots, and we will fill it ourselves. So now Krishna was witnessing all this, but all the holy rivers, they were so much in pain because they could not be of any service to Radharani. So this was they were actually folding their palms, and they were with tears they were praying to Radharani for devotion, because without Radharani's mercy they cannot get the mercy of Lord Krishna. So they were bowing down before Vrishabhanu Sutam Pranamyo. So they were actually so much in tears that they could not be of service. So now they were actually glorifying Radharani. Devi Tvadiya Mahimanam Avaiti Sarvas Sastrartha Vinacha Vidir Na Haro Na Lakshmi Kintu Eka Purushartha Shiromanispat Prashveda Marjana Para Swayam Eva Krishna. So they were glorifying Radharani, that your glories are, even Lord Shiva or Lakshmi cannot understand your glories. Only Krishna, can understand them. Thus, he feels obliged to personally make sure that you can wash away your perspiration when you're fatigued. So now they're working very hard to bring the Manasi Ganga water from here. There's so much perspiration. So now they were obliged to serve, and they are saying that Krishna actually will be personally want to make sure that your fatigue is completely gone. So so now again there's so many verses that gopis were the holy rivers personified. They were glorifying Mother Radharani. How they were her lotus feet decorated with ankle bells, and how they are nectarian charu and yavaka. So in we have basically they are summarizing that we have actually, on Lord Krishna's order, they have come immediately to live in this most excellent pond, but only now when the Radharani is satisfied with with her merciful glance, their desire will be fulfilled. So what they're summarizing is, even though they came and served Lord Krishna, but their service is not complete until they actually serve Radharani. So now hearing this prayer, Radharani was so pleased. Shrutva Shrutim Nikila Tirtha Ganashyatusta Praha Smatarsham Ai Vedyati Radha. So now Tvadiya Sharashim Sha Pala Bhavama. So now Radharani is so pleased that she was asking, so okay, please tell me your desire. So now they all saying that their lives will be successful if they serve the pond that Radharani and all the gopis were made. So now um, now Radharani is glancing Krishna and replied with a smile, saying that all the gopis and everyone agreed that they all agreed to bring the holy rivers into their pond. So now here it is mentioned that so by the grace of Radharani's glance, the holy rivers in the lakes in Sri Krishna Kunda forcibly broke through its boundary walls and swiftly filled Radha Kund with his waters. So now finally all the holy rivers from Radha Kund, the Shama Kund filled the Radha Kund waters. Now there was exchange of words from Lord Krishna and Radharani. So Lord Hari. So here it's mentioned Procho Hari Priyata uh, Priyatame Tava Kundam Metam Mat Kundoto Api Mahimadikam Ashtuk Loke. So Lord Krishna says that actually your pond Radhakund is much magnanimous and very dear to me. I'll always take bath in this water to enjoy my pastimes. And actually, he says this is as dear to me as you are. Just like how dear close to Radharani, the pond is also as close to me. And Radharani also replies, Radha Bravit Aham Api Swa Sakibir Etya Syanayami Arishta Sama Mardanam Astu Tasya. So Radharani also says, um, so I'll come and bathe in your pond as well. In the future, anyone who has intense devotion for this lake, which is on the spot where you chastised Aristasura, and who bathes or resides here, is sure to become very dear to me. So, one who takes bath in Shamakund, Radharani says, is very dear to me. So, again, the Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur is concluding that after this, at the same Radha Kund, Lord Krishna initiated another rasa dance with the splendorous mood of giving pleasure to Srimati Radharani and all the gopis. And like this, the divine pastimes expanded, permeated the all three worlds. And as a final note, here, Narada Muni, it is mentioned that, so Narada Muni being Trikalagya, he understood how Krishna's pastimes are concluding Vrindavan. So now, being obliged, Narada Muni basically facilitating the entire pastimes of Krishna in Mathura. So he approached Kamsa and he was telling Kamsa all of this. You will see in the coming verses tomorrow how Narada Muni is facilitating all this pastimes. So Narada Muni is very beautifully orchestrates Krishna's pastimes. We can see every detail, how he informs at what time. There's a beauty in everything he does. So we'll see tomorrow's verses, devotees. Today, verse number 16 concludes with this one. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Panchakalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyev chaha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you,
Krishna,
Prabhu.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you so much, Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Sri Krishna Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.